I don't actually worry about my boyfriend cheating on me. I feel like men's bodies start to really turn on them in their 40s. He has to wake up every 2 hours in the night to pee. And when I see him in the morning with bags under his eyes, I hug him and I go, babe, I'm sorry you didn't sleep well. And then I think, you're too exhausted to cheat on me. You're not getting enough REM to pull off 2 relationships. I like you slow like this. Can catch you if I need to. Get back here. But now the second I see him start to reach for melatonin, I'm like, the fuck are you resting up for? Huh? You stay sleepy. I don't usually mind our age gap, but there is that new filter on TikTok where couples are posting pictures together, and then a filter goes across the screen, and it shows you what you'll look like together in 50 years. Like it ages you. So I did that with a picture of me and my boyfriend, and when the filter went across the screen, it just made him disappear. It was just me holding an urn. I was like, what? No, please. And my boyfriend was like, I want to see the picture. I was like, oh, my phone died. And so did you. What am I going to do? He does hate that he looks older than me. He's been trying to get me to look older faster. I think he wants to, microwave my face. On my birthday, as a prank, he hid all of my expensive skin creams, and when I opened my bathroom cupboard, there was just a pack of cigarettes. A tanning bed coupon. Well, be careful what you wish for. You're gonna wake up next to Mick Jagger. I have been telling my single friends that they should date somebody older than them. It's the best. They got their lives together. They're financially secure. My boyfriend has a lake cabin. You think I give a shit that he has a fake hip? I don't. I don't need somebody to be able to jump rope to get me wet. I'm riding on a jet ski. I'm coming 5 times on that thing anyway. My boyfriend shows me his credit score while we're on the jet ski. I'm like, oh my God. Our neighbors are like, wow, look at all the water coming off that thing. I'm like, that's not water, Diane. That's all me, baby. Happy 4th. Peace be with you. I will say, if you date somebody older than you, sometimes people think you have daddy issues. And they're right. My dad was an international yo-yo man for a living. That sentence should not even exist. I don't know if when you were growing up, a guy came to your school and did yo-yo demonstrations. Yeah, that's the man who made me. That's not great. I do love my dad. I think he gave me a very specific amount of daddy issues. Like, I have enough to have become a comedian, but not enough to have an OnlyFans. My dad's just a little too supportive for me to have one of those. If I tried to post my boobs online behind a paywall and posted some link that was like, for my biggest fans only, my dad would read that and go, well, I'm obviously my daughter's biggest fan. Oh, God, no. No. Kelsey Evelyn. I don't know of that many people personally who are on OnlyFans or in the porn space. I do know of Adriana Chechik. I follow her on Twitter because she tweets the most outrageous things and they make me laugh so hard. She tweeted the other day and said, on my way to the dentist, he has no idea how many different people's DNA he's about to clean out of my teeth. And I say some dirty things up here. But I read that and was like, my heavens. Adriana, I mean, God forbid something ever happens to her, there are gonna be so many suspects. That is a crime scene of a mouth. Detectives are gonna be like, was she killed by a village? What happened here? It's just not wise. But I am fascinated by her as a person. I listened to her on a podcast where she said that on a different trip to the dentist, she had the dentist file down her back molars so that she could make room for bigger things. Yeah, really took the bumpers off the bowling lane. And I heard that and was like, what a commitment to the craft. I mean, I'm not even willing to wear heels up here for you folks. She's out there changing her dental records. Good Christ, what a go-getter. I told that joke in Grand Rapids a few months ago where nothing good ever happens. And there was a dentist in the crowd, and she was blackout drunk. And she starts shouting, she goes, we can tell when somebody's in porn. And I was like, well, none of us are gonna be able to move on with our lives until you tell us. The floor is yours, okay? You have hijacked the show. And she goes, they have suction on the roof of their mouth. I was like the ghost of a blowjob? What are you talking about? That is so not how I thought you would be able to tell, right? I thought she was gonna say that when they put the little vacuum hose in there, that the person's like, they're like, hey. Quit that. You swallow at your work, not here. Goblin. I know that I have to have some daddy issues because my boyfriend's name is Chad. The sounds of disapproval. Yeah, you don't date a Chad unless you come from deep white trash. And I think it's very ironic as a comedian that I'm dating a Chad because comics, we've made fun of dudes with that name our entire careers. Like, a comedian dating a Chad is like a store manager dating a Karen. It makes no sense. And I've had a lot of firsts with him in our relationship. I mentioned on my special, The Hustler, that he's the first guy I've ever been with who has had a vasectomy. So I had no idea what to expect the first time he finished. I was like, is it gonna be dust? Like when you blow into a Nintendo cartridge, it's like, I had no idea what was going to happen. So I decided to do some research in a lab called my mouth. And you're welcome. We're all adults here. And I'm happy to report my findings that I believe it's essentially diet cum. If I may be so bold. And I have been pretty shocked now at how many people come up to me after shows and go, you gotta make merch that says diet cum. And I'm like, who would wear that? Make some noise if you think you would genuinely wear a diet cum shirt. Oh my God, liar, liar. You work from home. No HR in your life. No way. And Chad has a 19-year-old daughter, and I wanted her to like me so badly, but I posted that vasectomy joke on Instagram. Yeah. Stepmom of the year. And I forgot that she followed me on there. So later that night, she texted Chad and said, hey, not trying to start any shit. But just thought you should know, I definitely unfollowed your girlfriend today. And I thought, well, it's probably a good idea because I bet I'm gonna post a joke that I'm currently telling you guys, and I don't think she's gonna like this one either. By the way, I don't blame her at all for unfollowing me. I totally get it. I was just bummed because I was hoping that Instagram was gonna be how I could connect with this teenage girl, you know? Like, before I met her, my friends were like, oh, don't be nervous. She's gonna love you. She's gonna think it's so cool that your videos get a bunch of views. And I was like, oh, you mean the one about me blowing her dad? I don't exactly think she's walking into her college cafeteria like, you guys, it's my dad she blows. You guys. It's like my daddy issues are now giving other girls daddy issues. It's like a Russian nesting doll of fuckery. Break the cycle. I feel like I should know more about things like vasectomies because I don't know if you guys had this in high school where you could get voted, you know, best dressed or most athletic, but I had that in middle school. And when I was in 7th grade, I got voted most likely to become a sex ed teacher. And I look back and I'm like, what was I saying to my peers? At age 12, that made them collectively go, she knows where the taint is. I should not have won that award. I knew nothing. I was such a late bloomer in every way. I didn't start my period until the last week of 8th grade, which coincided with my school's graduation trip to the lake. Yeah, buckle up. And the first time you get a period, they always tell girls, oh, don't use a tampon, wear a pad. So all my friends are in their cute little bikinis in front of the boys for the first time. I am wearing a t-shirt and giant men's and one basketball shorts. Trying to hide the outline of this massive pad, which went from belly button to middle of my back. It was like wearing a horse saddle. It's casually at the beach. And then everybody jumped in the lake, and nobody told me that you can't get in with a pad on. So I jumped in too, and that thing started dragging me to the bottom of the lake. I was like, no. My life flashed before my eyes. This thing got so heavy so fast, you could see the water level of the lake just slowly going lower and lower and lower. And I'm a terrible swimmer. I death gripped onto her front shoulder. She was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm bleeding and drowning, please. Help. So people flopped me up onto the dock, and I stood up, and in front of every boy in my grade, 20 gallons of water dumped out of my shorts for 40 straight seconds. Like the world's grossest magician. Oh, it's still going. Okay. And that is how you don't get fingered until your senior year. True story. I feel like all the boys in my grade were like, we've heard that wet is good, but... That seems too wet. I don't think there's supposed to be fish coming out of there. sort of weird mermaid lady. I actually got an IUD in recently because I heard that they could just make your period go away, but the procedure is a nightmare. They basically shove a Lego in your uterus while you're wide awake. I thought for sure I was gonna get knocked out for this. The doctor was like, no. I was like, okay. What do you guys do for the pain? She's like, oh, take a Tylenol, make a wish. I'm like, oh, I wish you'd go fuck yourself. If you're comfortable sharing, make some noise if you have an IUD. Oh my God. Give these women a key to the city. All right? There are Avengers sitting amongst you tonight. It is insane. But I think the thing that's maybe more traumatizing than that procedure is that when you get there, they ask you to give a urine sample. And women dread giving urine samples. For dudes, you guys just whip your dong out. You aim and fire. You could probably do it blindfolded. Women giving a urine sample is like trying to get the leash out from under the dog's leg on a walk. You're like, okay, this way, maybe this way. Well, am I going or are you going? Well, goddammit. So many legs. Because women only pee straight for 2 of the 20 seconds we pee. The rest of the time, it looks like somebody just poked a hole in a Capri Sun and then started stepping on it. You're like, well, oh, sideways? What am I peeing sideways? I don't even have a hole there. And then a doctor walks in with a thimble and is like, catch it. Catch it. I'm like, you catch it. This is a 2-man job at least. This thing is the same size as a to-go ranch container. I can't possibly catch it in this. Do you have a crock pot back there? Something with handles, a wide berth I can work with, perhaps? And a lot of the time, you don't know you're gonna have to give a urine sample, so you peed right before you left the house, and then you're in there trying to squeegee out 5 drops, but you don't have enough pressure in your stream for it to go out, so you just get a babbling brook that hugs your body and drops off a butt cheek in the back. Like, have to drop a pin on GPS to know where that fucker went. I have no idea. I can't see back there. Can't catch that. So I'm in there. I try to get a urine sample. It's a complete disaster, as always. I get nothing in the cup. I just peel over my own wrist like a child. The whole thing stressed me out so much I had explosive diarrhea. I walked out of there up to the nurse. I was like, well, didn't get a urine sample, but the cup is full. Test what you can, I guess. But it's a broken system. It's not my fault. You fix it. And then you lay back, and they do the procedure, and an IUD can stay in you for 8 years. So after they're done, the nurse hands you a sticker with a date on it of 8 years from that day, so you know when to replace it. So I just pop that on my windshield next to my oil change sticker. Where else am I gonna put that thing? I got one that says Valvoline, one that says Volvoline. I just look at just keep an eye. I told my dad about the sticker thing, and he goes, "Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if it works the same way as a car, where it goes by either the date or the mileage. I was like, shut your mouth, Dad. I mean, I'm definitely gonna use it on stage, but shut your mouth. Sicko. We're not friends. I don't want to joke with you like that. You're gonna make me start an OnlyFans and keep that shit up. Shut up. That's definitely not how it works, by the way. That'd be very funny to me if they were secretly putting tiny odometers. You go in for a checkup, the doctor's like, oh, somebody had a busy April. Jesus Christ. Well, no way this thing's lasting 8 years. You're burning the tires. Clean off this thing. Slow down. I'm very happy to be living with Chad. I lived alone for a few years after the divorce. I feel like if you live alone for too long, you start to become feral. Make some noise if you live alone right now. All right, so that's 12 people who showered for the first time tonight. Good for you. I am honored to be the reason you would bathe and leave your home. Because you don't have to do anything when you live alone. There's nobody around to judge you, and you start to act like you were raised by wolves, right? I watched myself do something so unhinged at one point. I don't know if you guys have it in your shower, where if the water's been hitting the shower curtain for a long time, it starts to get kind of discolored at the bottom. I tried cleaning it, it wouldn't come off, and instead of just going and buying a new shower curtain like a normal person, I just sat in my bathtub with scissors and I just cut the bottom. I just went full meth head. I was just like, ay. Arts and crafts. I literally gave my shower bangs. It's not a mentally stable place to be in. And then, of course, it really looked like shit. So I went to Target, and they had just released fall candles. And I learned that day that if you smell candles for 30 minutes straight, you will accidentally get a little fucking high. Nothing crazy, but I'm a lightweight, and nobody in the DARE program talked to me about candles. So I was unprepared for what happened to my body. So I was floating around Target. I grabbed the shower curtain I wanted, and when I went home and hung it up, it only stretched like half the length of my shower, and it was so long, 5 extra feet of fabric coming off the bottom of this thing. And my stepsister came over the next day, and she used my bathroom, and she came out and she goes, "Why do you have a window curtain in there?" I was like, "What now?" She goes, "That's a window curtain. You didn't think it was weird that when you hung it up, there was an entire Met Gala ball gown coming off of it?" I was like, "I accidentally got fucked up on pumpkin spice and I blacked out. I don't want to talk about it." But it's fine. I can fix this. And I grabbed my scissors and I just cut the bottom. We're fine. I can feel that I'm starting to get a little too comfortable with Chad now that we live together. You know, in the beginning, you try so hard, you care what you look like. I'd go get Brazilian waxes all the time. Now I'm just trying to not scare kids at the pool. It's a different level of effort I'm willing to put in. Now I just tell my wax lady the same thing that Chad tells the guy who trims his beard. I'm just like, take a little off the sides, be careful around the lips. Let's not get crazy. I am pretty shocked at the lengths that young girls now are willing to go to attract boys. I don't know if you guys have heard of this trend through TikTok called vabbing. Okay, I just found out about this. Apparently, some teenage girls now, before they leave the house, are sticking their fingers down there and then wiping it on their neck to try to use their pheromones to attract boys. The confidence of Gen Z is so fucking wild. and truly disturbed. I mean, cold day in hell that you would catch a millennial or older wiping anything from this area on their neck like goddamn potpourri. That was so not the message taught to us about this area by our elders, right? They were like, hey, lock up your shame. I'm going, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. We didn't even want anybody to know we had a vagina. And we were just walking through middle school like, okay, conceal and carry. Okay. Nobody see it, nobody smell it. Just spraying 17 pumps of Bath & Body Works cucumber melon. Smell like every Lyft driver's car. Just insanity. Yeah, our sex ed teachers didn't talk to us about this area like it was hot sauce. They were like, hey y'all, it's good on everything. Get it out there. No, they talked to us about it like it was black licorice. They were like, hey, not everybody's gonna like that. Oh, okay. You stay humble. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. And we did. We're a humble generation. Anybody here have a teenage daughter? Well, don't smell their neck. Yeah, that is not lip gloss. Sounds like a town hall meeting in here. You guys are like, hey! This is an outrage! I feel like there might be some interesting phone calls on the drive home tonight. Put your fucking sister on! I do actually want to try and keep the magic alive with Chad for as long as I can. And my ex and I got pretty gross together toward the end. He and I always lived in a place that only had one bathroom, and he would go in there and take 45-minute man shits. And I finally asked him, I was like, hey, why does it take you so long to do that? And he goes, well, my doctor told me that it's bad to push, so I don't push. I just sit and I let it fall out. I was like, what are you, a geisha? What are you trying to take these dainty shits for? You're a man. Just grab onto something, fire it out, get the fuck out of there. We can't wait for the stars to align, Mulan. It's Sunday, we got errands to run. Go, get out. So he went in there one day for one of his sessions. And I knew it was going to be a session because I could hear him lock the door, which he always only did for number 2. And I didn't know why. I think I know now. I think you dudes have this poo phobia that while you're sitting there all vulnerable, you're afraid we're going to, like, bust the door down and jump on your lap and start tickling you. I'm not Steve-O. Why would I do that? I would never do that. So he's in there, door locked, and on this day, our buttholes had synced. And I was like, oh no. Because I have IBS, so when I gotta go, I gotta go. So I texted him, and I was like, hey, I'm about to shit my pants. Siren emoji. Fire emoji. Making it crystal clear. He doesn't respond. I can hear his phone get my text. And I hear him just swipe out of it and continue to watch Parks and Rec. I'm like, you motherfucker. So now I realize I do not have access to a toilet, and I've got some demons coming down the chute. I am in apocalypse survival mode. So I start frantically looking around our apartment for a substitute toilet. The first thing I see is the kitchen sink. I know. Right away I was like, too high. It's a lot of gymnastics I'm not qualified for. Next thing I see is my ex's favorite hat, which emotionally felt like the right choice, because I was ready to soft serve him some piping hot justice. But I was like, ooh, that's a small surface area. I'm not confident in the aim. You guys know how I feel about urine samples. It's like, if you can't pee in a cup, you can't poop in a hat. That's a Dr. Seuss book we all grew up with. Everybody knows you can't do that. And so I looked, and I had to shit in an empty cardboard Amazon box in my own living room like an old homeless man. That changes you as a person. I was just squatting and crying. Our cats walked up to me and booped noses. I was like, get out of here, go. They just watched me from the corner with giant eyes. They're just looking at me like, oh, you are one of us. Neat. And after I was done, I told my friends what had happened, and they were all like, why don't you just poop in your cat's litter box? And I was like, because I'm not trying to dominate them for the rest of their lives. Do you understand what a deranged power move that would be? To just bring the heat like that? And just dunk on them? That would be like if you shit in your baby's diaper. Your child would be taken from you. There are rules to this life. But I tell you guys this to tell you, I've been trying to hide that version of me far away from Chad. I don't ever want Chad to meet gross Kelsey. Right? In warehouses, you know, they have those signs. It's like 32 days since last workplace incident. Well, I have a tiny one in my heart that says 1,842 days since I shit in a box. I'm trying to keep that number very high. But when Chad and I moved in together last year, we celebrated, we went out, we drank a bunch of tequila, and then the next morning, I got Chipotle. Bad choices. And we went back to our new place, and I went into one of the bathrooms to do my business. But it's a new bathroom to me, so I turned on what I thought was the fan. Turns out it was the heater. That's not what you want. That takes a normal number 2 smell and turns it into a Woodstock 99 porta potty. Immediately. And so I'm in there sweating and panicking. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I finish up and I walk out and I close the door behind me, which is the universal sign for give it a sec. No one needs to go in here for the next 2 to 49 hours. Change your plans, change your route. Chad completely ignores this major sign that I'm throwing up at him. He just blows right by me and walks in there to get a Kleenex. My brain in slow-mo was like, don't go in there. he came out, and I was like, I am so sorry. Could you smell things? And he goes, I couldn't smell anything. You're fine. And I was like, oh, thank God. You might want to take a COVID test. Actually, don't waste a test. You have COVID. My asshole was the test, and you failed. And that's when Chad goes, I'm just kidding. I could totally smell that. Do you see the tears streaming down my face? God damn it. So something I've learned is that a lot of people don't realize that comedians know how to not be comedians off stage. Like, some people just think we're always set to clown mode or something. Because a few years ago, my mom got sick and she was in the hospital for part of the time. And 3 weeks in, her doctor turns to me and goes, so I heard you're a comedian. And I was like, yeah, I am. He goes, oh, just surprises me because I don't really get a funny vibe from you. And I was like, well, my mom's still in the hospital after 3 weeks, so I'm not really getting a great doctor vibe. I can be petty off the clock too, bitch. I will do it for free. Also, what does a funny vibe look like to this guy? We're in a hospital. You think I'm gonna walk through the waiting room honking boobs like, it's like, people are bleeding out. You gotta clock out sometimes. But here's the thing. When my mom was in the hospital, she ended up getting diagnosed with dementia, which has, of course, been the most heartbreaking thing to go through. But she is so smart and so funny that even with dementia, she's still pretty crafty, like still tries to prank people. So she and my brother were talking. He thought it was going well. And then all of a sudden, she just starts shouting, nurse! Nurse! And my brother's like, oh my God, Mom, I'm right here. What do you need? The nurses come running in. They're like, Kathy, oh my God, what's going on? And my mom just goes, look how handsome my son is. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? You cannot be the mom who cried hot son. You're gonna get kicked out of the home. Because now I feel like next time she actually needs help, the nurse is just gonna pop her head around from 50 feet away and be like, oh, let me guess, Kathy, is your daughter funny? Is that what you're screaming at us for? It'd be so great if she was like, she's okay. Not really get a funny vibe from her. Just want some apple juice. I have to tell you guys something that just happened. My cousin and I visited my mom, and we thought that my mom had fallen asleep. So my cousin decided to tell me that she just took her 2 high school nieces out to dinner, and her nieces are obsessed with mukbang videos. You guys know what mukbang videos are? Okay, if you don't know, it's this big trend on YouTube. People order massive quantities of food, and they eat them on camera. So her nieces love these mukbang videos, and they're at dinner, and one of her nieces cleans her plate so fast. And my cousin looks at her and goes, wow, Bailey, you should do your own bukkake videos. And her niece went white in the face, which is very funny if you know what bukkake is. Remember that .12 resting blood alcohol? I was talking about. Such a delayed reaction. Whole book. Yeah. I can also tell that some of you do not know what bukkake is. And honestly, you're better people for it. You are more pure of heart. Okay. A Midwest mom just went. If you want to find out what it is, give it a Google later. Don't do it at work, you'll get fired. It is a finishing move in the world of porn. And I'm like dying laughing at this story. And then all of a sudden, my mom goes, I've done bukkake once. And my cousin and I were like, no. Do not say that word in the home. I promise it is not whatever you think it is. It's not some fitness class you took at the YMCA. I'm sure my mom was just sitting there listening like, oh, well, Zumba was full that one day, so I think I popped over to bukkake. It's like, no, you did not. No, you did not. Nope, you never did that. And here's the thing, I always take really good care of my mom, but I took extra good care of her that day because I was like, those cannot be your last words. Don't you dare. And this is strange, but my entire family and I, including my mom, are actually world champion foosball players. Yeah, thank you. And my mom is in the Foosball Hall of Fame. Yeah. But every time my mom gets a new nurse, the nurse will always ask her about her life. And my mom always goes, well, I'm in the Foosball Hall of Fame. And every nurse goes, sure you are. Mm-hmm. And I'm always standing there like, oh, yeah, no, I know that sounds made up, but I swear it's real. And the nurse is like, hey, you don't have to. And I'm like, lady, I swear to God, I can show you her trophies, I can show you video of her playing. And that's when the nurse starts to look at the other nurses like, oh, does the daughter have dementia too? It's like a T-Mobile family plan of dementia. It's like too weird to believe. And my mom growing up was also somebody you did not want to cross. My parents got divorced in the 90s, back when there were home phone answering machines. And before the divorce, our answering machine message was my dad saying, you've reached the Cooks, please leave us a message. And then after the divorce, my mom had changed it to her just blasting Alanis Morissette's You Oughta Know. So every time my dad would call, my mom would let it go to the machine so that if he wanted to leave a message for her, every time he first had to sit through the lyrics, and I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. I mean, that's a bad bitch move right there. That takes balls. Because it's not like that was just the message for when my dad called. That was the message for literally anybody who called our house. So after a while, we started to get messages from people like, hey, this is Dave from Blockbuster. And I'm here to remind you. Your Space Jam VHS is overdue. Really sorry about whatever you're going through. And long before my mom had dementia, she had retired from teaching, and she had taken on some interesting retirement hobbies. She had started to screenshot the selfies I would post on Instagram, and then she would print them out and go to Kohl's and buy those 30 photo collage frames. and frame my selfies.